Welcome to another episode. This time we'll be discussing on the latest happening in the world, that's on the Iran attack on Israel. In the last 2 years, that is in 2022 as well as 2023, I mean, you had seen the country's conflict. Initially with 2022, that is once the pandemic died down, we initially saw the war of Russia with Ukraine, Russia invading Ukraine, and that war itself in the last 2 years is going on. Um, this triggered the other economical crisis. It included already the countries were facing after pandemic because of liquidity being pumped in. The countries were facing inflation, and because of the war, Russia-Ukraine war, um, due to inflation and because the in any kind of a war-like situation, naturally the investors would become scary of that, and then that is when you'd find like they started investing in gold. That is the time when the gold prices started going up. That is in late 2022, and then 23 it just was spiraling up. The gold prices was going up, and that was in 2023 somewhere in October. The Israel Gaza war started, and that made the gold prices to go up even further. That's where we are now in. The gold price is at the peak. So, if you are taking in the INR terms, as I speak, it is about 1 gram of 22 carat is about 6,600 rupees odd. So that is the price. And now that Iran versus Israel, if it escalates further, then yes, the prices of gold is expected to, because always gold is assumed to be a safe bet, particularly if if there is going to be a situation of a war where this could trigger an economic crisis, then it is always the first one is always to get invested is gold. So the prices of gold might further go up, particularly if there is an escalation of the Iran versus Israel war. The other side, you have a war with Israel is in war with on the Gaza as well, with the Hamas as well. So the big picture is that it's a kind of you might have apart from these two wars, there need to be some kind of a settlement in this war. World leaders have to find out appropriate settlement. If that doesn't happen, it could have a full blown economic crisis, and already there are indication the US could move towards a recession because it's already having still high prices, inflation is there, and it could trigger further recession. So if you look at why this war started, during the course of the Israel Gaza war, Israel has bombed a couple of weeks back. It's supposed to be a building of Iran embassy in Syria. This was bombed by Israel, though Israel claims it is not an embassy. But Iran claims it's an embassy, and some of their people had, even the top leader of their army was dead in that bombing. So this triggered a kind of a war-like situation. So that's where this happened in the first week of April, and that is where the Iran retaliated with the attack on Israel. As you are aware, I mean, Iran does support Hezbollah as well as Hamas. On the other hand, and that's where it's a kind of a proxy. Iran indirectly supports, not directly support them. They do indirectly support the Hezbollah and as well as Hamas, and Israel are attacking both Hamas in Gaza as well as Hezbollah as well. So that's where this war has triggered with Iran launching a series of missile attack couple of days back. But again, if you look at the relationship as well between the Iran and Israel, it's not a friendly relationship. And if you look at the army capabilities wise on all fronts, like on the paper at least, Iran is much more mightier. And again, the interesting fact is both the countries does not share borders, that is Iran and Israel. So it is going to be mostly through aerial route, most probably, if there is a direct conflict. If it is through the surface, that is through the land, you will not be really able to spot out whether they are from Iran or they are from Syria or on one side or from the Gaza on the other side. So it's going to be, if it is at a ground level conflict, it's going to be really, really difficult to point out who the fighters were who are fighting against Israel. Aerial route, yes, you can spot out. So the war situation is very dicey. It can get as complex as possible, the most complex situation, and it's better the world leaders sit and discuss and find an amicable solution to all these wars which is happening in the world in the last couple of years. So it was long back. We had Iraq-US war in sometime in 2000. After that, it was relatively peaceful. So that's where you found much more people were. I mean, the investors. I would not say people. Investors were investing in ventures, and that's where you would see gold prices were stagnant right from 2010 onwards to 2018-19. It was stagnant. The prices was not going up, not going up drastically. But 2020 is what initially, because of pandemic, the investor took a back step and prices started going up. And again, in 2022, there was a drop in gold prices. And again, the war of Russia, Ukraine started. And again, the gold prices started picking up. So if you look at the economic impact on this, particularly for a country like India, the petroleum product could become dearer. It could go up because apart from Russia, Iran does supply to the, though they are, Iran is not the not in top five, but still they contribute to the petroleum product. So if in case of war, they would like to have a better price for their petroleum product. So naturally, the petrol is bound to go up. The other factor is stock market. Stock market is, though yes, Indian stock market is at all time high, but then you might see kind of a nervousness. We don't know which way it goes. It could already last 2 days. That's on 15th of April. It has gone down. So we really can't say how the stock market behaves, but it could get nervous, and there could be a bear market setting in as well. It's highly early days. You can't say really say this will happen. And again, there are recession trends which is happening in US, though it is not announced as a recession, but the inflations have not come down. So the inflation, because inflation has not come down, the recession could be around the corner, and this kind of war could trigger a recession as well. Gold prices, yes, the gold prices could keep increasing, because if there is no stability in the world, because if there is going to be further war escalations, the gold prices are bound to go up. And finally, we already see a divided world because of a Russia-Ukraine war, and each country are trying to take sides. And India, for now, it has provided a neutral stand. It has not favored Ukraine or Russia. So now we need to see again Israel, Gaza. They try to take a neutral stand, and again with Israel, Iran, Israel. So their stand, India's stand, is also becoming more trickier day by day it progresses. And on top of it, if at all Russia and Iran joins hands together, that could trigger even more higher conflict. So as of now, everything is seemingly looks totally fluid. Nothing is concrete. But if this war escalates, that is, if Israel retaliates back or Iran hikes up its attack on Israel, it could trigger into a full-fledged war, and the world would not like to get into such a situation. Anyways, let's wait and see in the following week how it is going to go fan out, or how it is going to come out on the war against Iran versus Israel, or just like the earlier days, like South Korea versus North Korea in 2014 or 15. They were supposed to, the world was expecting a war, but it did not happen. Hopefully, this time as well, there doesn't the war doesn't it gets subsides without getting into a conflict situation. Finally, thanks for watching, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Cheers.